So Anne Sexton was born in 1928 to an upper middle class family. Mostly upper. She was a troubled child, kind of a floozy. She liked the attention of men, men's attention. Her self-esteem really rested in men and how men viewed her, which is problematic as anyone would. Well, anyway, she one night decided she was going to elope with this guy named Cato, or that was her pet name for him. So they elope, and she leaves this note to her parents saying, "Don't be mad, we're really in love, we had to do this." She was probably 16 or 18 at that point, so she could do it without consent. And I think her parents were pretty angry. She didn't get along with them. So after the drama or the dramatics of getting married wear down, she realizes that she really doesn't have anything else to do except clean house, keep a tidy house, and domestic things. So she has her first mental breakdown. She had her first kid. After she had her child, Linda, she tried to kill herself. And then she was put in a mental hospital. She didn't really have anything to live for. She didn't want to identify herself as just a mother, and she didn't want to be just a loving wife because, well, she was crazy, but I wouldn't want to do that either. So her psychiatrist tells her to start writing poetry because she had a bit of some sort of literary talent as a kid. Like, she enjoyed writing, but she'd never gone to college, and I don't think she finished high school. So he encouraged her to write poetry. And since she had an obsessive nature, she really took to poetry. She started writing poetry when she was 28. And she became really consumed with it. She was taking poetry classes, like adult education poetry classes at Boston University, and she just kept obsessively refining and editing her poetry, using herself, of course, as her subject matter. Then I believe she received a scholarship to go to Breadloaf, where she meets Robert Lowell. Anyway, so she was raising her kid and writing like in the evenings obsessively, and she started gaining attention, getting things published slowly, and then she realized when she did have all this success and she felt confident enough in herself, then she decided to fuck everything up. So she divorces Cato because she thought she should have more lovers. This was after Linda was in college. So she divorces him. At this point, she'd won the Pulitzer Prize. She was about to turn 50. I think she's like full faculty at Boston University, and her books are selling well. So she decides So those things are going very well. But she's very lonely because the men with whom she thought she was going to have these great love affairs never panned out. So she meets her good friend Maxine Kumin in the city in Boston to have lunch and sort of get her affairs in order and tell her where she wants her collection, The Awful Roaming Toward God, to go. I guess if you're meeting a friend, I guess you could automatically come to the conclusion that she's tying up loose ends. So she goes home. Anne Sexton goes home. She puts on her mother's fur. She goes into the garage, turns on the car, and kills herself. She was also a model, and she knew Sylvia Plath.